Let's introduce these lovely gentlemen here. Just coming off his Challenger Cup victory, he is Patience. And his opponent, up here in the top, he may be fresh, but he said he was feeling bad. Give it up for our Red Terran, BYUN. Alright, so, just thinking about Pillars of Gold, it's one of those maps where you have kind of an easier expansion location up there in that 12 and 6 o'clock third base, which is pretty nice. That is going to mean that the later stages of the game are going to be pretty good. But, kind of just taking a look at the other bases, your fourth, it's okay. It's relatively close. You can reinforce that pretty easily. But then you get to your fifth and your sixth base, and they are so far away that I think that really is going to favor a Terran kind of player like BYUN, who likes to get these kind of rotations in with one attack going to the fourth, one attack going to the sixth, etc., until his opponent is dead. And obviously, if anyone's going to be aggressive, it's going to be this little itty-bitty SCV coming across the map, because it is attached to the shoulders of a living legend, the world champion, BYUN. Yeah, I definitely do not pity the Korean players playing in IEM tomorrow, because they are going to have quite the feat for having to play with so much ping, so much lag, as well as just having to play so late. But I think they're kind of used to it, because back in the day, they used to play like 10 to 12 hours every single day for Kespa. And, the best players are the ones who kind of kept up a good regime like that. As we've kind of seen a lot of the players who just didn't really have that same dedication and devotion fall off in terms of results. There are a couple other reasons for that, but you know what? Patience is going to be going for Twilight Council in this game, and we'll have to see how many gates he decides to throw down. We just saw him literally an hour ago go for that very aggressive blink timing, and it was able to kill a lesser Terran player. But as long as BYUN kind of gets wind of what's going on, he should be perfectly okay. Now, we got to keep an eye as well for how many additional gateways are going to be coming in here. If he just goes up to 3 gates, then he is going to be able to expand behind this. He's going to be able to kind of macro his way out. But if he throws down the 4th, then that is such a huge commitment for him. He's going to have to get tons of damage in order to make it worth it. Now, this Reaper going to be coming in, sees that Warp Gate is being researched. I don't know, did he see Blink? He did. If you don't know, those little indications right there does mean that Blink is being researched as the Reaper finally goes down to his final resting place. And also BYUN just kind of keeping an eye on the 3rd with that Hellion. So really nice. Just going to try and delay that for a little bit longer. And yeah, honestly, now kind of taking a look at it, just the fact that he... Okay, never mind. I was about to say that he was going to keep this defensive, but with the Warp Prism coming across the map, that is going to be pretty nice, as there is no Siege Tanks out just yet. That's about maybe 30, 40 seconds away. On the other side of things, we do have 2 probes going down to a Wayward Widowmine drop. Those will get cleaned up. I think the medevac actually goes down, but now Patience is going to be able to get equal or even greater damage. Not focus firing them down one at a time, but that does mean that he does get 3 workers And now the Stalkers are going to be moving across the map to join up with that War Prism. Keep in mind, the Siege Tank did pop, so it's going to be about where BYUN positions that. And now that he's seen the fact that this is coming out, he's going to move the Raven to the side and possibly just use that for, you know, kind of force those defensive warpins, because you can't just ignore that. The Adepts rotating around, just making sure that those Marines are not in position. Looks like the Widow Mines got back in again, but the Siege Tank completely out of position, so Patience is going to be able to just blink on forward or out of here after getting 3 worker kills. Yeah, I'm sure Inu's pretty tired right now, so that's why he missed the Widow Mine drop. But 13 probes going down. Now, the fact that he didn't get a lot of damage on the other side is a lot scarier for him, as he's down 10 workers. Just taking a look at everything killed off, while he did trade effectively during the army. This is still a dicey situation for him. And you know what? He's just going to say all in. He dropped 4 additional gateways and is pushing across the map, but his window is really starting to close here, as Stim is just about to finish. The +1 upgrades almost done, and yeah, there's just not really a lot of room for him to maneuver anymore, as we do see he's just going to warp in a ton of Zealots and go for it. The Siege Tank's completely out of position. BYUN will be able to save those, but he won't be able to save a good majority of these units. Do we have charge on the field? We do indeed. So overall, this is working out a little bit, but we'll have to see, because now the Siege Tanks are sieged up. And the wall has fallen. The Zealots getting right on top of the bio. And while he does kill 12 SCVs, he will have to back on out of there. Still, that third base is not mining at peak efficiency. And he actually lost 5 additional workers here, so I guess that Raven getting in and getting a little bit more done. The Adepts shading on in to get a little bit more damage in the main base. Some good War Prism micro. But again, the noose may be tightening here, as we kind of see that he's not producing anything other than all-in units. Oh, BYUN trying to go for the War Prism. That is going to be his downfall almost. You got to fight within range of the Siege Tanks. Otherwise, you're just dead, really. As another big warp-in of Zealots. The Force Field's going to try and catch what they can, but BYUN is able to get out there with most of them. The SCVs starting to fall as they are pulled to defend. And you know what? Patience is running out of steam here. He gets 12 additional workers, but I don't know if that's really going to be enough. Never mind. You know what? With that Siege Tank going down, that was the last of the defense here for BYUN. 20 workers going down. And it looks like BYUN going to start to fall as another warp-in of Zealots coming in. That Siege Tank is not going to be too long for this world. GG is called, and Patience will take game number 1. Oof. That was a rough one, because it looked like he was about to start holding a little bit more, but yeah, it just kind of fell apart very, very quickly there at the end with the dedicated attacks out of Patience. So we will be going on to Submarine. It's BYUN's map pick, and you know what? He always goes to Submarine first. I don't think I've ever seen him not get Submarine as his first map. After a loss. He does need some good practice. He's got a tough match tomorrow versus Dream. So this is kind of a warm-up. I did ask him how he was feeling. He said he was feeling bad. So, you know, take that what you will. When when a player says he's feeling bad, that just means he's feeling at like 90 to only 100% and not the 150% that they usually are. And yeah, here we go. Let's see. Anything else great coming up? Yeah, you know, if you like StarCraft 2, it looks like we got a lot of good tournaments today. We got some awesome NA Apprentice coming up at 6 p.m. tonight. That's going to be over on my channel. That's going to be Exxon Nina versus Psystorm. And then after that, right after that, we're going to have Exxon Cham versus the NA Clowns. So make sure you check that out. And you know what? Let's introduce these players. Spawning. Down here in the bottom position after a decisive game, number 1. He is Patience. And his opponent, this lovely red Terran on the other side of the map. Give it up for BYUN. Okay, now Submarine, obviously a lot of people know it as a very Terran-esque map. A lot of room to kind of, you know, rotate around, seesaw a little bit, kind of pull your opponent apart. But at the same time, those 3 bases are very close together, so the reinforcements can make it there a little bit easier. And, yeah, it looks like Patience is just going to go for a very aggressive proxy right now. As BYUN will have that Reaper out to scout, but, you know, I don't think he's going to be able to stop this from going down. Yeah, Zeiss, exactly. Submarine. That is a pretty big indicator. And now BYUN does come in with that first SCV. He wants to count the number of pylons. So far, he only sees 1. That is a very big indicator that something is not right. As that Reaper going to be coming across, he sees the probe. That is a very big tell for... Looks like Patience says hi. He knows the jig is up as the Stargate has been found. He's going to start working on the pylon, but that Adept is going to be coming across the map to kind of help deal with that. And you know what? Now that BYUN knows that this is coming, he's going to feel pretty safe. You know, he throws down the bunker very close to the natural. So that in case it is that Void Ray pressure, which, by the way, it is, he's going to feel okay. But at the Adept, though, is going to try and shade into the natural. At this point, I think BYUN just wants to kill off that pylon before this really starts to hit. As the Adept going on down there. And now the Stargate is unpowered. So Patience still going to try and make this work. I think at this point, you kind of just cut your losses, don't you? As, you know, he's going to be going for 3 gate behind this with the Twilight Council, but this is so delayed that's going to be really indicative that he's not really going to be able to get too much damage done. And now BYUN knows that he can't really do anything with the Reaper with that shield battery, but he's seen everything. Oh, man. And look at that. It's actually going to be full-on 4-gate. The 4th gateway is there at the front. Yeah, that's bad. Cyclone just able to get those lock-ons, crush these 3 Stalkers warping in. Now the Adept is going to try and chase that down, but he won't even be able to get the Cyclone. GG is called. Oh, man. You know, you gotta feel for patience in that situation. That was unfortunately just a very easy to scout proxy location. And the second that the probe was spotted, you know, just everything fell apart. Make sure to hydrate as well, guys. Check out geofuel.com and our Matcherino page for all our sponsor quests. Looks like Inu getting a little bit of a laugh in, as I'm going to kind of translate at the speed of light. All right, have a good night, Zeiss. Map number 3 is going to be Romanticide. Alright, so getting into this one, it is currently 1-1. And we are going to lock all that up before we hop on in. Spawning up here in the top position. A little bit of banter from this guy up here. He is our blue Protoss. Patience. And his opponent, down here in the bottom in the red trunks. This is BYUN. BYUN, that's not your base. So matching proxy for proxy, as it is getting pretty late. I'm sure these guys are tired and really just want to get these games over with, as we do see the probe going to be getting a good scout around. Unfortunately, it's at the same level as this proxy, so gonna say a little bit of a high here as he's found out, but now he can really kind of just dance around the natural mineral line. We have seen sometimes where BYUN just likes to take advantage of these maps with a much bigger main base and actually send his proxy straight into the main, meaning that when it hits, it's just so impossible to defend. But this time, it's just going to be that Reaper going straight into factory. So nothing too aggressive. You know, just trying to be a nuisance. Now this... Oh my god, these two are really just ribbing on each other. As that Zealot going to be dancing around the cover, making sure the Reaper can't kill that off before it goes across the map to try and get a little bit of work done. Factory is complete, however. Going to drop down the tech lab, so, you know, either Cyclones or Siege Tanks. Either one is pretty good. The Reaper as well, just going to try and deny that second Nexus, and he will get it. Losing the Reaper in the process, but that is a very nice pickoff for BYUN. And just overall patience, really just trying to be aggressive off the back of this because he knows that he needs to get something before that starport. What's it called? A starport is complete. You know, the thing I hate about TVP is I always mix up Stargate and Starport. It's like 100% fail rate on saying the right one. I think there's just way too many units with the name Star in them. My limit is exactly 1. But it is going to be Blink. One additional gateway. We should be seeing 2 more follow, as we do have, I believe that's a pylon out in the middle of the map, or at least a probe. Yeah, spider mines. That's another big one. I remember those things because I am old. But you know what? The robo facility is about to finish up. We should be seeing the stalkers rotate to the front pretty soon, I'd imagine. Got a Raven just to play it a little bit safe. He's obviously got that first Viking just to make sure that there's no semblance of a Warp Prism going to be coming into his main. Just making sure that he doesn't die to Oracles or anything like that. He doesn't really know what Patience is going for. He hasn't been in the base for quite a long time. And so he doesn't really know that it's going straight up to Robo Bay. And going to be getting either Colossus or Disruptors. Alright, so both sides really just powering up right now. The aggression that I thought was coming is nowhere to be seen, as these guys don't really want to throw away any advantages, any leads that they might assume they have. Patience already having his 3rd base up is really nice for his economy. He's going to be able to kind of just get that explosion in, where Protoss really starts to kind of just be good. Really good. That Zealot as well going to die for the cause, just trying to deny that 3rd base for as long as possible. But now we're up to 5 racks. 5 racks, 3 base Terran is known as the war machine of Terran, and that's really when their production hits that critical mass as well. But a couple of things that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Just take a look at the fact that there's no armory on the field for BYUN just yet. He's only going to be able to get up to +1 until that armory finishes. So a little bit late on that. That's going to delay his upgrades just slightly. And on the other side of things, Patience doesn't have a double forward, so he's just going to be pumping out that +1 ground weapons, while also going up to 4 additional gateways, getting that 2nd robo facility so he can double produce those Colossus. Everything is really just shaping up here as BYUN kind of rotating around, looking for an angle. I think his window is essentially closed as that 2nd Colossus has hit the field. And yeah, Patience just really getting everything in the book. DT Shrine as well, just going to be a big nuisance for BYUN to deal with. So he's not even going to try and get up to that base. As the Stalker's taking a couple of pot shots, trying to kill off those Widow Mines. Yeah, nothing really too much else to say about this one. You know, BYUN has a very scary army. He's currently up over 40 army supply right now. If you can take a look at this handy dandy little chart. He's got the Ravens, so that those DTs are not going to be as feasible during the fight. He scans up ahead just to see that there's not really that much here holding him back, but he's got to be careful not to get sandwiched. There you go, going up the ramp as he gets a kill, not a cancel, on the 4th. Now, he's set up in a very good position right now. That siege tank does have can really combat that high ground. These Colossus don't really have a lot of support here other than the Stalkers, but he is going to catch quite a bit of BYUN's bio. Oh my god, there are 5 Colossus out on the field. Holy cow. DT gonna go wailing away on this one, as the scan is required to take that down. He gets maybe 1 Marine for his trouble. And now here comes the point where Patience will have enough DPS and a lot of AoE, so that means he's going to be able to defend all these multiples of locations a little bit easier, I would say, as the Stalker is going to be trying to get that Dorito Cannon, going to be hitting all of these Colossus who have been abandoned. The force field's not going to be enough to save that one. And it looks like he's going to get a cancel on this base, as Patience can't really engage this location. He's going to have to bring the full brunt of his army. He's supply blocked too. It looks like BYUN wanted to go for a bit of a drop here after luring the army out, but instead just going to go for this seesaw effect, as the disruptors are in play. Scan going to go down looking for an observer to go up on the map. And here we go. He's just going to focus down, fire down. The first one doesn't get the second. A huge shot is going to pretty much kill this push. Hey, Sun Lily, how you doing? Okay, so now BYUN, if he was able to get that second disruptor, I think he would be a lot more ahead. His lead in terms of that army, in terms of just everything that's been going on, has slowly dissipated quite a bit. But now he's going up to 3 Liberators at a time. He's got a fusion core, so he's going to have that range, which is going to be really good for taking these fights on the high ground. BYUN not paying attention is going to lose quite a few of those Marauders once again to the disruptor shots, but 10 probes have gone down, as the Colossus going to get wailed away on. That first one will not go down. It looks like there's just still a little bit too much bio here, so another big warping of Zealots is required. And you know what? That's going to make BYUN smell blood in the water, going for another big drop in the natural. As he's powering up to 4 additional CCs. Oh my goodness, that... You know what? I don't care what level you're at. That is the... Oh wait, I have so many minerals banked up. Nice. Oof, the Zealot Warpin not going to be enough to help out. They finally do get to surround this. Actually, that Cyclone from the beginning of the game helping out. Now the Stalkers are very exposed, and BYUN has taken game number 3. So he has propelled himself a little bit further forward, just really showcasing those skills that have put him on top of the food chain. You know what? I am forgetting my English. It is like 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how anybody gets up at this time. And now it is Patience map choice once again, so we'll have to see what he's going to choose for this next one. He says it in Korean because our admin is Korean. And it looks like it's going to be Lightshade. You know what? Like, you got, like, I want to give a big shout out to Into the Inu as well. Like I was saying earlier, he did set this up at the very last minute last night. So that is pretty cool. Just being able to get these players to come out for a little bit of extra money before their big event tomorrow. And yeah, it's just really good. And on top of that, like, he's a really funny guy. Like, just kind of translating the Korean that he types to all these players. You like it makes you really want to learn Korean so that you can banter with him. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, guys. As you can hear, the countdown started in the back. You know, ever since I saw someone do that at a live event, they had a sponsor and they had a photographer. So they would just take little opportunities to go like this with their energy drink sponsor. It was the Rainbow Six Evil Geniuses team. I've just been trying to add that in a little bit of flair. But you know what? These guys got some good flair as well. So let's introduce them. Spawning up here in the top position. Give it up for our blue Protoss. Patience. And his opponent in the red trunks. You know him, you love him. He is BYUN. Hey, Guli Verza. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. And welcome to all of you who have tuned in. As we're going to be getting this one underway, BYUN does have his racks in the proper location this time. And I don't think Patience is really going to want to proxy either. We did see in his last series versus Natural that he got a Stargate down there at the bottom position. I'd say that's about the 6th or 5th, depending on which way you decide to expand. And it really did work out for him, but it just was a lot harder of a game because of the fact that he had it there. He wasn't able to reinforce with it. So, you know, I think BYUN's a little bit of a different caliber of a player. So, excuse me one second, guys. Sorry about that. And, yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting in this series that BYUN is scouting with the Reaper a bit more. In a lot of the series previously, he has kind of skipped that first Reaper to just go for the first Marine and then kind of power up on that Marine build here. It looks like we are going to be seeing a bit of an interesting strat. I have seen him pull this out before. He first gets the Marauder and a couple of additional Marines, and then he walks across the map with just 2 of them while powering up. And it's very deadly. I think it's kind of fallen out of favor once shield batteries came into play. But I digress on that, as that first Marauder is kind of just hanging out, waiting to go. Yeah, 2 Marauders and a Marine, and then he's going to walk across, trying to catch Patience off guard because of how out of meta this is. He should be able to get a lot of work done as well, since Patience did get the Sentry rather than the 3rd Stalker or Adept. But now he has seen this with that hallucinated Phoenix. He doesn't have time to throw down any shield batteries. So he is just going to have to defend with what he's got. Probes are pulled. BYUN moving a little bit too far forward will get picked off. And that is going to be the end of this aggression. Kind of showing why it is not as powerful as it used to be. Looks like BYUN a little bit tired right there. Saying GG, but I don't think he wants to leave just yet. Okay, so after that start, things have stabilized pretty good. The fact that he has had that tech lab so early does mean he's going to be going up to stim very, very soon. That's going to complete. He's going for the Widow Mine drops off the back of this, and that's kind of interesting to me because at this point, Patience will have Blink. He will already be up to that Robo facility. As we see, he's pumping out an Immortal. And that does mean that the observers are going to be in play, so I'm not sure how much damage he's going to be able to do with the Widow Mines. But we'll have to see as he is flying on in. First Widow Mine has dropped, second has gone down. Patience is not paying attention. He pulls way too late, and 7 workers will fall. The medevac is still alive, so that is going to be a very clear and present threat. Oh no, but BYUN may have to be careful here as the Stalker's moving right out of the way. Oh man, that could have been really bad. But now we do have that first Colossus out. It's not going to be in time to deal with this attack on the third, so that might get canceled. Will Patience cancel it? The answer is no. That will finish off. He's feeling confident enough to do so. The medevac will go in. Now, there's not really too much, but he will be able to clean that up. 10 workers going to go down to the Widow Mines. That's still pretty good damage. He does get the medevac sniped, however. Okay, no big deal. I think that was definitely worth it for BYUN, as now he's up over 50 supply and kind of taking a look at the damage dealt. It looks like while Patience did get the better trade there, he's lost so many probes. You know what? This is the BYUN you like to see. He's just dropping everywhere. As soon as his first harassment is done, the next one is already geared up, ready to go. Which just allows him to force those defensive warp-ins and keep his opponent completely dead. Now we do have two siege tanks here, so those stalkers not going to be too long for this world as they do blink on out of there. And behind this, BYUN just going to be powering up, getting those Vikings going up to 5 racks and that third base. Here we go once again. Looks like Patience is utilizing the ground defense just to make sure that his units can last a little bit longer versus BYUN. But in terms of upgrades, looks like he's actually going to be a little bit even, since BYUN only going to be getting his armor upgrade right now. Okay, interesting. You know, one thing I like about this is one thing that sometimes see from BYUN is that he really doesn't prepare for the late game all that well, as he kind of relies on that mid to early game damage being dealt. But versus Protoss, it seems like he's been getting a bit better at that, as we've already seen him transition over to that Ghost Academy. Hold that thought, though, because he doesn't have an armory out, so he is going to be stuck on 1-1 for a very long time. So as long as Patience can hold on, he's going to have that upgrade advantage over his opponent. And if you guys know anything about PvT, upgrades are so important. Like, you just can't kill a 3-3 Protoss army with 1-1. So far, so good, as, BYUN just looking for those angles. He's going to go for the fourth base. We'll maybe get a probe or two. I don't assume he will get too much else. Might get the Zealot. That's nice. That's going to force these Stalkers to come on home. I think BYUN just waiting for that critical mass, as he's just not really moving out anymore. He recognizes the fact that there's just a little bit too much Protoss, and that might be an interesting thing to say, but there just comes that point of critical mass for Protoss where they're able to defend multiple locations, and that's just when the drops start to lose their value over time, and you can't really justify losing units after that. Looks like the scan's going to be going down, looking for the Observer. That's a pretty big indicator that he wants to move out. He's almost fully maxed out. And now here we're gonna go for the fifth base. He does have Static Shock ready to go, stopping the DT from warping in. First couple of EMPs are going to be good, but the force fields are enough to push this back. Disruptor's gonna make sure that he can't engage. That's a lot of medevacs actually over here, so he's going to have to send those back over to the army, because he has stemmed up, and with no healing, that army is just going to get weaker and weaker over time. Siege Tank's going to be wailing away on one of those Disruptors, not going to kill it. A very unlucky Ghost. Now the Vikings will be able to get some shots off on the Colossus. Not going to be able to kill them. But really, BYUN just trying to position himself. Baits Patience into the Siege Tank fire. I mean, you got a small Zealot run by here, but there are enough reinforcements to kind of close that one out. As we kind of just see BYUN powering up in the backfield with 3 additional racks, 2 additional CCs, and just really daring Patience to move forward. That was a very naughty blink, and he is going to be punished for it. It looks like Patience trying to get the wraparound to stop reinforcements coming across, but not going to be able to do so. We got one more additional DT, just trying to keep those trickling in, forcing out the scans. As the Zealots are going to get cleaned up on the other side. The Siege Tanks just really doing so much work to this army. I really don't envy Patience's position here. Even going to lose the Disruptor. And now this is going to be the catalyst for BYUN to move in before backing off. Again, just being so patient with his army. We do have him branching off down here, just trying to kill off the economy of Patience. A recall being sent down there to the bottom as well. That is very risky because they will not have some support. The shield battery is pretty much the only thing he's going to have. And you know what? The siege tank's a little bit too far forward, but the ones on the high ground going to punish him for taking those out. As we see, BYUN going to go straight for the Colossus, and that is why you keep your army with the Colossus at all times. I think this is almost a winning move here for BYUN as he gets the third, he gets the fifth. And Patience just so far out of position. That Nexus, oh my god, that is going to haunt me in my dreams seeing it that low without being killed. But now with no splash on this army, there's just not a lot that Patience can do. He's going to have to rely on some beautiful disruptor shots, but it looks like BYUN's not going to allow him to get them as EMP going down as he retreats. Taking a look at that. Let's actually take a look at that fight on the battle report here. Just look how efficient BYUN was. Almost double the resources lost. 109 blinks have been used. Oh my goodness here. So now it's pretty deceiving in terms of the supply count. Now, while Patience does have a pretty big army, a lot of it is just divided up. The Zealots down here at the bottom are going to try and help out the Colossus. And they will be able to push this back. But does he have enough at the top? The answer is so far, yeah. But as those Liberators come into play, he will have... Does he have Liberator range? No, not yet. So that's going to have to come into play to help deal with this. But once those are in play, those Disruptors lose a lot of their utility. A beautiful splits by BYUN, just going to make sure that he doesn't take too much fire to them. And as he pushes into this location, he's just trying to starve Patience out by getting snipes on these bases. Looks like another DT dropping it down to the bottom. Oh my goodness, just action everywhere. This is the game that I was expecting out of these two. You can't really deny that this is top tier StarCraft. As he's going to get a kill on this one. 11 workers going down, but at this point, I think BYUN just wants to let those die and rely more on the mules for his mineral income. You just don't really need as many workers at this point. Yeah, here we go. A big fight going down. EMP is detonating all over those sentries, so he will only have one force field available. I think keeping the sentries alive and in good health is really important just because there are so many choke points, so many ramps that you can kind of catch BYUN's army out of position in. But as we see, he's going to get another base down here before retreating. My goodness, this rotation around from BYUN is just something to behold. Getting 20 workers here, 40 workers here, 20 going down on this base alone to those Liberators. And I think now BYUN has done more than enough to just go for this big one-shot attack to finish things off. I just don't know if BYUN could, or Patience can hold something like that. Nuclear launch detected. Oh, all those disruptors falling. BYUN killing off that last Colossi. The rest of the army is scrambling to get there. Not going to be in time. BYUN gets the tap out, and he will jump forward in the series 3-1. Okay. That should have done it. Don't worry, they haven't continued the game. We should be good to go now. Apologize for that. I'm going to take care of all these issues later.
Game resumed.
All right, let's get these introductions out of the way. Spawning up here in the top position, he is Patience. And down here in the bottom, give it up for BYUN. So yeah, I think for the YouTube video, Sushi, you might just want to have Snoopy cut out that bit with the audio issues. But yeah, for this one, it looks like BYUN's going to be going for something a little bit similar, as we do have that very early concussive shell coming on out. He's also got that first Marauder going to be moving across the map and going into double Rax production. And you know what? I think this is a pretty good one. Just because it kind of pulls your opponent off guard. I think Patience is a little bit quicker on the draw this time, as he does have the Twilight Council coming on down already, so he will be able to go into Blink, maybe try and catch the fact that Patience doesn't have, or BYUN rather, won't have those siege tanks out for quite a bit of time. But yeah, it is going to be Blink. And we'll have to see how many kills he can get with this. The Adept seeing it at the very last second, so there are no shield batteries to help out the front. That Adept, though, is very tanky to the Marauder, so you want to focus fire down the Stalkers in the back. So far, he does get a couple of good shots off, but good micro from Patience. Just going to keep those alive. The Marauder will trade out for one Stalker. Certainly not worth it, but, you know, you do what you can. Because now he will have Marauders out for the Blink play. That's coming across, and Patience is pretty much all in with this, as we see four gateways. That's the point where you say, hey, I want to kill you now. You want to die? Probably not. Okay, so first couple of Stalkers just going to be making their way into the natural little poke on the bunker. As we got a DT shrine behind it, so Patience really just going all out on this. Funnily enough, we don't see any additional Stalkers being warped in, which is kind of interesting. Probably waiting for Blink to finish before he does so, as BYUN looks like he's going to be gearing up. Never mind, that was to the bunker. I thought I heard a medevac being coming on in. Bunker not going to get repaired. If he can get that, that's pretty nice. But there is a pretty big amount of Marines, and they do have stim, so that's kind of what he's got going for him. And look at that. He feels so confident. He's even going to just give him a free Marine kill. Do it himself, you know. As the siege tank is going to be coming in. So now the window for Patience to actually get damage done has kind of closed. With that, he is going to get scouted out. See the fact that the War Prism is coming in. Oh, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know that it's going to be DTs. Luckily for him, he has banked up a scan, and he will get that SE He will get that SCV, building the missile turret as quickly as possible, but that opens up the ability for the DT to come in here to the natural, clean up the siege tank, and the stalkers now have free reign until that siege tank sieges up. 3 additional gateways going to be coming in as well, so Patience just really wanting to kill BYUN here. He doesn't have time for this charade of being an equal game. Yeah, I don't know why he's trying to transition out of it either. He's got the Nexus coming up. He's going into Colossi production soon, getting his upgrades. I don't know if that's the right choice here, because that means you're going to have to back up a little bit with these stalkers. You can't really stay here too much longer. But you know what? He does smell that blood in the water. Gets 4 additional SCVs before getting on out. BYUN on the other side of things will get 3 or 4 workers with that small drop that's coming across. Nothing is actually over here. Everything has been warped in on the other side of the map, forcing the recall of a bunch of stalkers, and it looks like BYUN is just going to straight up fight this, trading out these Marines for the stalkers, which is really nice, I gotta say, because you are going to get quite a bit done as you got 8 additional workers with that. And now the DT is still trying to be a little bit of a nuisance. They're going to be able to, you know, kind of just pull the army home. Luckily for BYUN, he is going to clean up this forward location. Oof, forcing the additional scan with that DT, that's really something. And one thing to note is that BYUN is still only on 2 bases, so his army should be a little bit more powerful. It's just not. You know, he hasn't been able to really get up to a good army count, as Patience is going to be moving across with everything. He catches out a huge chunk of that bio as well. So, oh no, I think BYUN just really having some trouble here in this game, getting that momentum forward, as Patience just been in his face the entire time, trying to fight within range of this 3rd CC, using it as a bit of a buffer. But those Colossus really shelling away, making sure that BYUN gets nothing done here. And the Zealots, oh my goodness, I think Patience is just slowly, death by 1,000 cuts, raking BYUN in this game. And yeah, the first siege tank goes down. The force fields blocking out quite a bit of the bio, as the Marauders in the front trying to get something, but they will not get the pickoffs that they need. 4 DTs going to be warping in, going to be morphed into Archons here, I'd imagine. Yeah, there you go. A good focus fire going to take down one of the Colossus. The SCVs are going to have to be pulled into Archons, however. Is BYUN actually starting to push his way forward? You know, he did lose a ton of SCVs right there. He's still fighting, but I think with the next warp in getting canceled, oh my god! Whoa. Okay. Oh my god, I don't know if Patience knew how far ahead he was in that game. He just killed 21 workers. BYUN wasn't using his 3rd base. And the thing is, he had to bank up so many scans to deal with the DTs that he wouldn't have been able to rely on mules. I don't know what the heck he was thinking there. Oh my goodness. BYUN. I gotta say though, that hold was beautiful. You can't actually say anything bad about that hold, but that does mean that BYUN will be going up to match point in this best of 9. He has 4 wins to the 1 of patience. Would like to remind everyone that we do have a match arena page for this event. I'm going to sign in real quick and show you guys how that works. Actually, is this the right? Is this the right event? No, it looks like the event is a little bit wrong. Sushi on the match arena page. It's oh, never mind. It just says BYUN versus Hurricane, but let's just show you how this works. I'm gonna head on over here. Whoops. Display capture. There we go. So basically, this is the match arena page for this. It says BYUN versus Hurricane, but that's not the case. If you come up here and hit AX 295, you add a free 50 cents to the prize pool. You can leave your comment. You can also do some sponsor quests down here on the side. It looks like a couple of them aren't available in our region. That might be for our foreign fans. And you can also check out some cool stuff like the event replay pack, the pro jerseys. These are really cool. They're really comfortable. I'm actually wearing one right now. But you know what? Let's hop back in the game, shall we? Spawning up here in the bottom position, he is our red Terran. Give it up for match points, BYUN. And his opponent down here in the top position, he is Patience for Good Game Gaming. And as you can see, this probe going on a little bit of a journey to get to BYUN's base. It is just for scouting, but there's always the potential. I think this probe right here is the scariest probe that you can have, because any probe that is not in the Protoss's main base is a really, really big threat. There's so many places that you can proxy on this map, which you won't really scout as the Terran player. Like, especially there by the low ground third, at the, about 8 to 9 o'clock position. You just really don't go over there naturally. So unless you're actively scouting, that's a really nice location to just throw down that Void Ray proxy. And if you guys know, the Void Ray proxy is one of the most annoying things to deal with as a Terran player. This time, however, BYUN is going to be going for a much more normal build. He's got the factory up. He's got the Reaper coming out for a little bit of a look around. He's going to be counting the pylons and counting on the fact that that Nexus is there. That's interesting to have those two probes there. That's kind of wondering what he was deciding to do with those, because that means they aren't mining. And if you can take a look at the income tab, you can kind of see the fact that they weren't there on time, even though Patience does have a 5-worker lead because of the chrono boost. still equalizes with the mules. So, once again, we've got Twilight Council. One additional gateway. We should be seeing maybe one more, at least. One or two. Blink hasn't started. So it's going to be DTs. Okay. I like DTs. Yeah, they can be very fun, very difficult to deal with early on, but, you know, they're just so strange. They're like paper cannons. Really powerful until they're not. Reaper kind of just dancing around here. Nothing really too much else to say until those DTs get in. The Widowmine's gonna be going for a little bit of a pop, but Patience is paying attention this time, so he will be in position to deal with that. The Widowmine gonna drop right here. He will lose that one. It is not worth saving. He does have one more ready to go. You know, he's hoping that Patience's attention is on the Warp Prism on the other side, as the first couple of DT is going to be coming in. Missile Turret, though, is already on the way, and he has one scan banked up in the main. Revealing the DTs a little bit early there. You want to send him straight to the mineral line, I feel, just because you're not really going to be able to get all those Marines. Excuse me one sec, guys. Yeah, from here, I think the best thing that you can do as Patience is just morph those into Archons, because your opponent doesn't really have a very high Marauder count. And Marines just absolutely melt. And when I say melt, I mean that with a capital M-E-L. To Archons, so here we go. Gonna be just dancing around. As he gets his third base up in the back, +1 upgrades. Gonna be roughly in sync with the +1 of BYUN, just like maybe 30 seconds behind. Good positioning on the Viking. Gonna get a lot of hits on that Warp Prism, making it a lot less useful for Patience, as he's going to have to be much more cautious with it. We do see BYUN have about a 20 army supply lead. That's not really the biggest of deals at this point, I feel, just because you do have those Colossus out. Actually, funnily enough, only just now getting that second Colossus. So that's going to leave him a little bit vulnerable here, as BYUN moving across the map for the first time really in this game. That Colossus is very brave, or very foolish. Using the Warp Prism actually going to make a very beautiful music as he saves the Colossus from the Marauder shots. This is actually amazing micro from Patience. Going to be pushing that back. BYUN going to be just trying to open up as many of these avenues for him as possible. Breaking down the rock wall is going to just give him more places to retreat to and get set up for the concave, which I think is going to work really well for him. We do see a drop potentially going for the main base, trying to hide the medevacs But Patience does catch wind of this, so he's going to be sending everything home. No warp-ins in the main base, so this does mean that BYUN will be able to shut down there. Really interesting recall there. I think he could have just walked, essentially. The Widmine actually going to get a nice shot off on the Colossi before he has to get out of there. The Medevac's getting very low to the Archons. He's going to have to clean that up, and he actually just gets rid of all of his units. I don't know if that was worth it for BYUN. He traded out so many units for not really a lot of gain, not even getting the Colossus, which now has its shields back. Oh, looks like he actually came back in with that drop in the top. 10 workers going down. And now that is the damage that he needs to keep going. Those medevacs are going to give me a heart attack. Literally, a gust of wind is going to kill those off. Yeah, small engagement. Nothing really too much here. Although now with the reinforcements coming in, the Zealot's taking quite a bit of fire. Blanking the Widowmine shot with the Warp Prism. Patience is trying to find his location here to attack. But I don't really think BYUN is going to falter. Even with a couple of additional Warp-ins, I just don't think there's really enough here. As we do see BYUN not really preparing for the next stage of the game. He's got 4 Marines and 3 Marauders on the way. That's not really what you want versus this composition. Why is he? Did he lose the DT Shrine? Yeah, okay, so he did lose the DT Shrine, so just... Wait, no, he didn't lose the DT Shrine, so... a bit of a mistake there by Patience, kind of playing around. Getting that second one as the Warp Prism. Going to get 2 kills, 3 kills maybe. In the backfield as BYUN just killing off all the observers. He wants to stay open on the map without Patience knowing what's going on. Go, a big fight, but the Disruptor is going to clean up both of those Widow Mines and get a couple of Marauders as well for its trouble. Getting pulled back to the third base to deal with those Zealots. But now it kind of looks like BYUN is still trying to get this double prong as you see his army divided between these two big forces. I'm a little bit worried about that because the last time he did this on Lightshade, he already did a lot more damage than he has done in this game. He's kind of getting deflected a lot, only really getting 10 workers that one time. But here we go, forcing the recall up at the top. Those Colossus are going to go down very quickly. That was the worst recall in existence. Even going to kill off the Disruptor before its fire goes down. We do see that army going to be engaging down here in the bottom, but that is purely Stalker Zealot. And you know what? Patience realizes he's been beat. GG is called, and that means BYUN takes the game.